You guys ever have one of those mornings where you sleep great but still feel like you got hit by a freight train? Fun times. Ugh. Yeah, fasted cardio. Let's do this. All right. Welcome to Lifting Explained, your top destination for fitness, actually backed by research and science. So, fasted cardio effective? Does it have merit? Should you do it? Yes and no. Fasted cardio, or exercise for that matter, has become pretty popular, and a lot of fitness influencers have praised it and practically called it a gift from God. But in reality, there's actually nothing really special about it. Now, the research is kind of all over the place when it comes to fasted cardio. So I want to concentrate on 3 studies for this video: Bachman et al. 2016, Paoli et al. 2011, and Schoenfeld et al. 2014. In Bachman et al., the researchers took 12 men and split them into 2 groups, where one group was provided breakfast and the other skipped breakfast. They then had both groups perform 60 minutes of steady-state cardio. The 2 groups were then provided both the same lunch and dinner for the remainder of the day, along with an afternoon snack. The researchers measured the participants' energy intake, blood glucose, and hunger levels throughout the 24-hour period, and also their respiratory quotient during exercise. The researchers concluded that fasting before morning exercise decreased 24-hour energy intake and increased fat oxidation during exercise. Completing exercise in the morning in the fasted state may have implications for weight management. They also said this research found that when 60 minutes of continuous exercise was performed in the morning before eating, there was a greater increase in 24-hour fat oxidation than when participants ate prior to exercise or when they exercised later in the day. However, in the very next sentence, they stated the increase in fat oxidation was also associated with a greater negative energy balance. Negative energy balance simply means consuming fewer calories than you burn. This is an important point that I'll cover in just a minute. Now, in the second study, Paoli et al., the researchers took 8 active men and carried out a similar method as mentioned in the first study, but this time, the researchers made a different conclusion. The authors conclude that when moderate endurance exercise is done to lose body fat, fasting before exercise does not enhance lipid utilization. Rather, physical activity after a light meal is advisable. In the third study, Schoenfeld et al., 20 active women were taken and split into 2 groups, where the first group performed 1 hour of steady-state cardio fasted 3 times per week for 4 weeks, and the second group did the same training but fed. The 20 women were put on a customized diet that induced a caloric deficit. The conclusion was that both groups showed a significant loss of weight and fat mass from baseline, but no significant between-group differences were noted in any outcome measure. These findings indicate that body composition changes associated with aerobic exercise in conjunction with a hypocaloric diet are similar, regardless of whether or not an individual is fasted prior to training. So, fasted cardio, yes or no? Well, it actually doesn't really matter. It's more down to personal preference. Now, I mentioned earlier about the importance of a negative caloric deficit, one that research has consistently shown, and also by the world's authorities on nutrition, such as Martin McDonald, Sean Arndt, Brad Schoenfeld, Bill Campbell, Jose Antonio, and many others, is that the key to fat loss is eating fewer calories. Seriously, eat less, move more, and it really is that simple. There is no magic formula or pill to fat loss. This is pretty much it. Now, back to fasted cardio. If you really think about it, it's not really the fact that performing cardio fasted is what leads to fat loss. It's really simply the fact that you're consuming fewer calories throughout the day, which is achieved by skipping breakfast. This is why the study from Schoenfeld et al. Is probably the most important one, as all of the participants were put on a diet that had a caloric deficit, meaning they achieved their fat loss primarily through eating less, not so much from the fasted exercise. So if you want to do fasted cardio or you don't, it doesn't really matter. It really comes down to preference, as already mentioned, because the main point is that if fat loss is your goal, then it's achieved through eating less and exercising on a regular basis. Whether you fast or simply eat less food throughout the day, they both lead to fewer calories and therefore the same outcome. Okay, that's my take on fasted cardio. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to tune in next week where I'll be talking about my top 5 tips for building muscle. I'll see you then.